Hi, this is Ray Jimenez. Welcome to a short presentation on microlearning methods. Better learning, more applications, reduce costs. We often see our learners complaining to challenges of long courses. Some people would say, why is this course too long? I have a headache. I'll checking my references later on. So we have a problem holding them together in order to get them engaged. One of the reasons for that is that most traditional courses are very long. They are really hard to access. And of course, you have here learners lose interest and they have poor retention. Now, this problems stems from this insight. Most traditional learning courses are very long and very big. They're like together, you cannot separate them into pieces. So it takes 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours for them to finish. On the other hand, in here, the microlearning courses are divided into two parts: must-learn lessons and then the learn-on-need lessons. You will see that most of this will come out that only about 20 to 30% are must-learns, and learn-on-need lessons are probably about 70, 60, or 80% depending on the topic. Now, I love this metaphor because when you're looking at microlearning, it is almost like my wife's pearls. Every one of these units in here are what you call micro lessons or micro learning units. You can either ask the learners go through it one bit at a time, the learn on need, the references, or you can string them together like pearls so that you can have a course. But fundamentally, they are designed as independent individual units for easy use, access, and reduce in terms of production. A good example is a project for Bank of America on compliance. This is a sexual harassment compliance course for managers and leaders. You see here that these are individual, what we call must-learn topics. So they have this video, they have these small little lessons in here, and yet all of these topics are must-learn, and the learn-on-need are pretty much work on this area. The policy procedures here that's listed down there, and then of course you have the references that are provided in here. So the main idea is to prioritize learning by the value of important to the learners and separating those references which they can learn later on as a result of their curiosity and their learning objectives. Another example is a project done for Edison, the power company. So it starts with the must-learn from learners like, I do better, no longer needed, they are better. These are topics about delegation. And you can see that each one of this is now a small, tiny must-learn lesson. And all of these are more tiny story-based approach. But then what you could see in here is that the resources, which are very detailed outline materials like worksheet to determine tasks, delegation, best practices, tips, 5 successful delegation tips, are all relegated as references and tools. They are not combined together with the must-learn. So that's a good example to show that we separate the must-learns because they are important content, and we also separate the references so that learners can access it later on. This is a quick overview of a small micro lesson creation process. So the parts are, you start with a small lesson, you separate the must-learn from the learn-on-need, you come up with a presentation in here, and then you now display the learn-on-need. And this number 7 is where you develop interaction and application. In detail, this is what happens. The must-learns are topics that are critical, high value, causes errors in the organization, and are difficult to learn. So this is a priority learning topic. The learn-on-need are topics like references, forms, steps, procedures, guides, and anything that the worker and the learner can access while they're doing work. That's why they call it on-the-job resource material, so that they can be put together as a reference. And then when you do a presentation within the microlearning, you're using in terms of stories, application questions, and real-work ideas. And then after that, you're talking about really allowing more time for peer learning, collaboration, mentoring projects, and applications. So the focus is application, peer mentoring, learning from each other, collaboration, on top of the other aspects of what you might call in here the development of micro lessons. As a result of trying to differentiate must learn and learn on need lessons, you begin to see that there is more learn on need references type of material, and there's fewer micro lessons. So therefore, your costs will reduce, the ability of the learners to find the answers is quicker, and therefore it is also useful where they're doing the job. So we end up, key benefits therefore of microlearning is that it's short and sweet. They provide good references. I can spend more time applying the ideas, and this is useful. And that's the key component of microlearning as a major benefit. Have fun, read more with the references attached in the following presentation.